The chapter 6 of Garten of BANBAN brought us some strange new characters. It also left us with more questions than answers, so join me to create all the characters of this chapter with clay. And also, I will be telling you more about them, so get comfortable and enjoy this video.
Hey, you can get down now, we're friendly.
Sir Dadu resembles a leash wearing a purple tie. He has no legs and has purple hands or gloves. He has a hollow, grey head. The hollowed area is dark, along with a sharp teeth. In the game, the first time we meet Sir Dadu is in the room where we also meet Bittergiggle, but this time, he is no longer our enemy, he is our ally. Bittergiggle mentions to us that he has already done a lot of damage and asks us for a sincere apology for everything. Besides, he feels guilty for having told that joke to the queen, because he thinks she is dead. Now, what we have to do is to press in order the buttons that are on the tables. Once we do this, we have to go to the room where Bittergiggle was, and we have to quickly press the buttons. If we don't hurry, the naughty ones will appear. The next thing to do is to go to the second floor of the room and place the projectors correctly so that they both point to the giant screen in the center. Also, on the first floor, there will be a projector and we also have to place it in the center. And as soon as the three projectors are synchronized on the screen, the lights go out. Bittergiggle runs and tells us that we have to hide. So, we go with him and take shelter in a room. Bittergiggle mentions that we have to wait for the video that is playing on the screen to finish, so we can exit. But we hear a scary voice that speaks to us, and it is just behind the door of the room where we take shelter. That voice tells us that it is BANBAN, and that he needs our help. But that is not BANBAN, it is Sir Dadu, who is next to one of the naughty ones. Once the video ends, the lights come on, and Sir Dadu disappears from the room. When we leave, we have to go to the second floor of the room, and we will find a letter that mentions the following. As per management request, further research on Case 14 Scepter has been conducted in pursuit of observing what was probably referred to as its magical powers by Case 14. RF, Case 14's human genome donor, unannounced to Case 14 as to not repeat what was occurred with Case 6, and Caretaker has pointed out that there are no official records of a scepter ever being manufactured and given to Case 14. The scepter on any official records exists only as a mural. Case 14 refuses to elaborate on where she received the scepter, always citing misremembrance as the reason. It is evident that Case 14 is not happy with the decision to have her transported to the lower levels, although the same calm and reasonable demeanor persists. It now possesses a previously non-existent stance on refusing to cooperate. The case is permanently not ready for presentation. Now, we have to go to the sheriff, but when we see us arrive with Bittergiggle, he gets very upset and tells us that we should leave the place. But just at that moment, one of the naughty ones appears and takes Bambalina, and immediately the sheriff runs to save her. Now, we have to go to a yellow door. When we enter this room and advance a little, we will meet the real BANBAN, and we will go with him upstairs. On that floor, we will meet Sir Dadu, and BANBAN asks us if he is our friend, but we have to lock ourselves in a small room. Just then, he attacks BANBAN and knocks him out. Sir Dadu mentions to us that we had a chance to escape his mayhem. He prepares to attack us, but fortunately, Bittergiggle comes to the rescue and they start fighting. This gives us time to escape. Near the end of the chapter, we meet Sir Dadu, and that's when we find the Queen's Scepter. Sir Dadu appears and thanks us for leaving all the switches open, the big door open, and the scepter are ready for him to escape. He also mentions that it is all part of his revenge, but Bittergiggle tells him that they had no choice that they were going to destroy them all, Sir Dadu replies that he made the wrong choice. At that moment, BANBAN touches Navnab and he transforms into his hellish form, so he throws himself at Sir Dadu and they begin to fight. Again, we have time to escape from him and we run away together with Bittergiggle and BANBAN. As we advance, Bittergiggle tells us that he will stay because the naughty ones are the only ones who laugh at his jokes and he can miss the opportunity. And when we get to the elevator at the end, the lights go out, and when they come on, Sir Dadu appears with several of the monsters we have met in these chapters, but now they are all possessed by Dadu. Eventually, BANBAN sacrifices himself to give us time to escape from them all.
In you go, child.
The naughty ones are the children of Queen Bonsilia. In her depiction, they are seen inside of Queen Bonsilia's pouch, where you can see anything except their eyes due to how dark it is in her pouch. But the interesting thing is that these creatures have no eyes. In Garten of BANBAN 4, once Bittergiggle makes the queen laugh, they manage to escape, as the sheriff had warned us. The naughty ones are slate-grey monsters. They have a physique build resembling those of slugs. They have long, cat-like ears, with a gloomy, dark shade of purple and an oval-shaped mouth with many large teeth, similar to that of a leash. The first time we meet one is in a room where if we open the door when Sir Dadu speaks to us, pretending to be BANBAN, one of the naughty ones will jump in our face. Then, we will meet a smaller one when we go upstairs together with BANBAN, but this time, this naughty one doesn't do anything to us. The third time we meet the naughty ones is in the great 3-story room, where we have to aim a lamp at them to prevent them from attacking Bittergiggle. The naughty ones in this room will have a much larger size, and the last time we meet them is at the end, when we are fleeing through the maze, along with BANBAN and Bittergiggle, but the latter stays to save us from them.
Stop! Father told us not to talk to strangers!
But we need help! Did you see our father around? He didn't come by today.
He has more arms than you. More than us as well, obviously. If you see him, please tell him we need him to come back.
The Yanum infants are 2 cyan spheres with diminutive and chubby legs, and they are indistinguishable from each other, except that one infant has pitch black eyes, meanwhile the other infant has chalk white eyes. We meet them when we enter the surgeon's room. These infants mentions to us that their father is the surgeon, and that if we see him, we should tell him that they want to see him. When we arrive to that room, we have the mission to find 8 lollipops. When we find them, a door will open, and inside it, there will be a letter that mentions the following. The first expedition since returning the scepter to Case 14 was dispatched today, and results were forwarded as very urgent. Given the impressive regenerative properties of Yanum, the expedition team have provided evidence that cases 14 and 18 are using their own genomes to produce cases of their own. Although research on subcases or cases that have 2 Yanum base entities as their donors as defined in the employee handbook has been minimal, experts predict that these subcases will have identical levels of obedience as their genome donors. Cases 9, 14, 17, and 18 wouldn't have known this to be possible without insider information, and we believe that case 4 to be the informer. Predictions show that a rebellion is imminent. We await management instructions on how to proceed. The case is permanently not ready for presentation. Chapter 6 starts right when we go down in the elevator with the sheriff, and he mentions to us that now there are hundreds of angry animals that want to capture us. Also in the elevator is Stinker Flynn, but he is unconscious. Now what we have to do is to use the drone to press a red button on the wall, and we also have to pick up the grey card from the table to be able to open the grey door. Just when that door opens, we hear a lot of laughter, which seems to be from the naughty ones. As we move down the long corridor, the lights go out, and the sheriff shouts at us to run because we can't stay in the dark. The sheriff quickly turns on the lights, and we arrive at a quite different place, as there are many trees and a house. He also mentions that this is where he took refuge when the humans abandoned him. He also mentions that he was found by the Queen and Bittergiggle, and again he reminds us that we are there to get the Queen's scepter as soon as possible, as it is the only thing that can help us to stop the naughty ones and seal the gates. The scepter is in the room behind the big red door. That door opens by activating 4 switches that are scattered throughout the different sectors of that place. The naughty ones despise the light, so if we stay in illuminated spaces, we will be safe. So the next thing to do is to find a way to travel safely from one area to another through the darkness. Now we have to climb some large pipes to reach a small room that is at the top. When we enter this room, we realize that it is completely dark. We will take some small lights that are on the table, and when we turn around, we will find a mysterious character. Her name is the Nanny. The Nanny is an Oxford blue humanoid, acquired with the aspects of a pig, that has a ballerina's skirt connected to her body, a light blue snout, and 2 white glowing eyes without pupils. She is one of the only monsters in the video game that lacks an animated representation or depiction. The others are the baby Opila, the Yanum infants, and the Bittergiggle clones. The Nanny has the least screen time of all the characters, only appearing for a few seconds in that house, and it is impossible to escape her attack. When we reappear, she is gone, and will not appear again for the rest of the chapter. She is also one of the few characters that really makes us uncomfortable and causes a lot of terror. When the player returns from the potentiality sector, BANBAN reveals that Navnab had appeared and was up to his usual mischief. BANBAN thought that the only way to avoid trouble was to lock Navnab in a cage, which is exactly what he did. In the potentiality sector, we found a letter referring to the spider, and most likely referring to Navnab, which mentions the following: the reclamation team has failed to recontain Case 8 for the 5th time since its escape, and the death toll has reached double digits just this morning. As per management request, awareness meetings about Case 8 and its dangers with mandatory attendance of all staff will be held weekly to ensure minimal losses of life. We ask management to consider ordering a different approach to recontaining Case 8 as the current methods prove futile every time. We suggest a non-violent approach that consists of luring Case 8 to wherever it can be trapped instead of going and looking for it. Our experts propose that another case, similar to Case 8, in appearance mannerisms, will pique its curiosity enough to lure it out of hiding. We await management's decision on how to proceed. Case is not ready for presentation. Navnab makes an appearance in Stinger's film dream sequence, where he can be seen sitting on the left. He remains there until Captain Fiddles is kidnapped, which causes Navnab to get up and chase the boss responsible for the kidnapping, but in doing so, he is hit by a second boss. Navnab remains in the cage until BANBAN and Bittergiggle open the door of the scepter room. Before entering the room, BANBAN decides to free Navnab from the cage and immediately goes elsewhere. However, just as we are about to press the eject button to release the scepter, Navnab unexpectedly appears and presses the eject button too many times, which causes Bittergiggle to panic, so Navnab immediately stops. The scepter comes out of the chest, but Bittergiggle realizes that the scepter is missing a piece. Sir Dadu then enters the room and confronts BANBAN, Bittergiggle, and Navnab, revealing that he plans to take the scepter and search for the sheriff and the surgeon. BANBAN then says that this won't happen and orders Navnab to join his side, comforting him in the process. However, BANBAN suddenly injects Navnab with Gibanium and throws him into the corner. Navnab then transforms into his hellish form and fights Sir Dadu. Navnab, in this form, grew abysmally. His eyes are now completely black, his teeth look bigger and sharper. In addition, he has darker blue spots and looks like a spider. His fight against Sir Dadu allows us to escape along with BANBAN and Bittergiggle while the naughty ones chase us. And that was the last time Navnab was seen in the chapter. It is not known if he survived his fight with Sir Dadu. Most likely, he is just unconscious and was saved from being possessed by Sir Dadu.
This is where they realized that everything they have worked so hard for was all for nothing.
Once we run away from Sir Dadu, we have to head to the road full of bushes. We have to hurry and follow Bittergiggle. If we turn back, we realize that one of the naughty ones is following us. Bittergiggle stops and tells us that he doesn't think he can keep up with us, since they, referring to the naughty ones, appreciate his jokes. Besides, he tells us that it is the only chance to have an audience and he's going to take advantage of it. So he says goodbye and jumps into the void to go with the naughty ones. Meanwhile, we move towards another elevator together with BANBAN, but when we get there, the lights go out. When they turn on, we realize that Nabnalina, Tamataki and Shamataki, Bambalina, Opila Bird, Kirisaurus, Tarta Bird, and Bittergiggle were possessed by Sir Dadu, and he mentions to us that everything we have worked for has been in vain, and that we will be a good addition to his army and finish what the Queen could not. But BANBAN turns and tells us that he will hold him so that we can flee, but not before giving us one last mission to find the surgeon. The elevator descends, and the last thing we see is the brave BANBAN fighting against all those beasts.
Come on, man, we have to get back together.
Not a chance. Your jokes are trash.
You'll have one leg. Everybody will think you're the joke when you're hopping around like a bunny. We must get back together to prevent that.
Oh, you make a good point. Let me think about it for a second. Never!
After one of the naughty ones captures Bambalina and takes her into the darkness, Bittergiggle yells at us to run away from there. He takes us to the main orange door, the one with the 4 big buttons on the side. Right there, he tells us that we are safe for now. Stinger Flynn is also there and tells us that Bittergiggle and the player, or in this case, us, are the duo of destruction. Bittergiggle regrets and replies that he plans to make it up to him. So, Bittergiggle mentions to us that we should go to turn on the other switches of the door. For this, we have to go to the potentiality sector. When we arrive to this sector, we will find Mr. Kaboom Man, and next to him there will be a card which will be used to open the yellow door of the potentiality sector. And just when we enter and turn to our right side, we will see a clone of Bittergiggle, but this one has something special, and this that it is split in half, but each half is alive and has a different personality. This pair of Bittergiggles are standing on a long brown tube. They are discussing that they should get back together to form a single being, but one of them refuses and tells his other half that his jokes are trash. One also mentions to the other that he will have only one leg, and that everyone will think it's a joke when they see him hop like a bunny. So the brown half replies that he will think about it, but after a few seconds he yells at him that he will never join him, jumps up and kicks him, but they both fall into the void. And this is the sad end of this clone of Bittergiggle, but something interesting is that we can say that it is the most complete clone so far. Its only flaw is that they are not together in one being.
I will find it! The perfect joke! I might have lost a leg, but it will all be worth it in the end. I just have to make sure I don't lose the other one! But I must remember, absolutely no more jokes about being trapped in a kangaroo's pouch!
The next thing to do is to send the drone to the lower level. Then we must stand on the big yellow eggs and direct the drone here. Under these eggs there will be a red button, and as we send the drone to the lower level, it will press it. Now to meet another Bittergiggle clone, we must first drop near where the Bittergiggle clone halves were dropped. When we drop in this level, we will find some metal stairs. This will take us to a yellow door, and to open it, we must use the drone and press the 2 red buttons that are on the sides of this door. In total, we must press 3 red buttons, and once we do this, we can open the yellow door. And just when we enter, we will see some metal stairs going down and up, and we will also see a Bittergiggle clone sitting in a corner and looking at the wall. One of its halves is purple and the other is light orange. Also, this clone doesn't have one of his legs, and something interesting is that if you hack the game and look at the full 3D model of this Bittergiggle, you will notice that he has no eyes, his eye sockets are empty. This clone is a bit pitiful, as he is completely crazy and obsessed with finding the perfect joke. He mentions that he lost a leg, but that in the end, it will all be worth it. He just has to make sure he doesn't lose the other one. At the end, he mentions that he must remember not to make any more jokes about being trapped in a kangaroo's pouch. After this, he laughs like a maniac.
Go ahead. Press the thing. Nothing bad will happen. I promise. See? I told you nothing bad would happen.
After fighting the mutated baby Opila, we will have to press two buttons so that a huge grey door closes. The mutated baby Opila reappears and the huge door closes in his face and sends him to sleep. So, this one goes back to being a chick. BANBAN appears on the upstairs balcony and mentions that he will look for a switch where he is and sends us to look for another switch. He also mentions that he will look for a way out for us, and thanks to him, the red door of the room opens. When we enter and turn to the right, we will find the last clone of Bittergiggle, and one of its halves is light orange, and the other is a bluish-purple color. The only flaw of this clone is that he doesn't have his two arms, but he can speak well and seems to be sane. On one side of this clone will be the button that BANBAN told us to press. This Bittergiggle clone also tells us to press the button that nothing bad will happen. This makes us a little suspicious of him, even makes us doubt if we really should press the button or not. And when we press the button, nothing happens. This was a great help to reach the Queen Scepter. So, it seems that we can trust Bittergiggle and all his clones as long as they are relatively sane. This has been all for the moment. I hope you liked this compilation. Comment which one of all these characters was your favorite. Also, I invite you to subscribe and leave your like. With this, you support me a lot. Greetings, take care, and see you in the next video.